What up, everybody? It's your boy Justice Hockey back with another video. You know it. Anyways, guys, for this video, I am going to be talking about my views on the recent fan film Voldemort: Origins of the Heir. I have to admit, it was a very good fan film. A lot longer than most fan films I've ever seen. So it's like 52 minutes, so it was close to an hour. But I wish it would have been like an hour and 30. But it was a really good fan film. But there are two things I do not agree with, though, in the story. The Origins of the Heir showed two people, one person that I don't think existed for a lot of reasons. One is because the story is about Voldemort and Tom Riddle and how he became Voldemort and everything. The story basically takes place mostly in flashbacks and a scene with a girl named Grisha McLagan, who we think is the heir of Gryffindor. What we don't know is the girl is actually Voldemort taking the form of Grisha by the means of transfiguration, which was a really powerful thing. He was also under the Verita serum, which makes him tell the complete truth, but he does not tell her the truth that he is who he says he is. Like, you know, he's like he's Voldemort. So meaning that Voldemort is immune to Verita serum. It also means that Misha McGragan must be dead somehow. And it's proven later she is. Also, the coolest thing, the thing I did not agree with in this story is they talk about Wiggloff, or whatever his name is. And he is the descendant of Rowena Ravenclaw. Which, for me, does not make sense for a lot of reasons. One, Rowena Ravenclaw I don't think had a brother, if she had siblings, then it's possible. But the problem is, Rowena did have a daughter, Helena. But as we know from the fact, Helena was murdered by the Bloody Baron of a ghost of my Slytherin house, but who's also the ghost of Slytherin house, and which is my house. Was murdered by the Bloody Baron before she was able to conceive children. So that in there lies the problem. If the only way there's a descendant of Rowena is if she had a brother or a sibling that had kids, and there are kids that had kids, and you know that's the only way. Now I don't know about Godric Gryffindor, but because they never explained it in the books, but Grisha McLagan is supposed to be that, and then there's supposed to be like two descendants of Hufflepuff, which are Hepzibah Smith, which you do know about the books, and her nephew, which is Lazarus Smith, I believe. Yeah, Lazarus Smith. Yeah, I think it's Lazarus Smith or something like that, or Lazarus something or whatever. But he's also a descendant of Hufflepuff, and we are told that in the scene there is actually it's 1956, I believe, or 1957. I am not sure what the exact year is, but it's basically explaining how at one time Voldemort or Tom Riddle was friends with these three kids, Grisha, Wiggloff, and Lazarus, and they were called a group called the Heirs. The Heirs, which are they had designed this thing to find the family heirlooms of each four founders, as well as do other things. In the beginning of the book or the movie, it shows Grisha defeating a bunch of people, which looked like at first to be Nazis, but it's later revealed that he's actually in Russia in 1956 looking for Tom Marvolo Riddle's diary, which has been hidden there. And they have it in evidence locker, and she's under this guy named, she gets like beaten and defeated, and she's taken into custody, and it's actually she's in the Auror department for Russia, and they're talking about what's his name? They're talking. So she asks why they're after the diary, and she goes into the story and everything, and about McLagan. Albus Dumbledore is mentioned in the story, and a bunch of other things. And the coolest part was in the end, after the Verita serum is done, she is they unshackle her, and they said they were going to set her free, and they take her to give her the diary, and that she's about to leave, and she says, "Oh, Grisha, one more question." The general, I forgot what the general's name was, but I know it was some kind of Russian name. I forgot what her name was. And she says, quick question. How did you know we had the diary? We never gave that information out. And then her face turns, and you see a little smile on her face, and you say, "Oh, I didn't know, or did I?" She turned around, and her eyes turn red like Voldemort's, and it turns out and then all of a sudden the transfiguration goes away, and it's Voldemort, and then he looks at her and he says, "But this is impossible. There's no one can transfigure that well," and he says. He's taking the diary and he looks at him and everyone's like, some of the guards showed up with wands and they're about to attack. And he says, "Enemies of the air, beware." And he ends up killing them, and it's really cool. The ending was so cool because we got to see, what looks like a young Igor Karkaroff, because he's there looking for the diary. He shows another scene where I guess they find the diary, and it's what you find out later is that the bones that are used for this diary, the bones of Magrisha were found in the diary, or in this chest where the diary was, I'm guessing, because otherwise Grisha must be dead or something like that, and that he talks about this other guy is another Russian. He's talking to Igor, or we don't know Igor until later, and Igor just sitting there with it's snowing and it's cold out, and he's saying, why is all this evil out in here and shit, and like even with Grindelwald defeated, people are still dying, and it's not fair. And then the Russian dude, they leave, they're bringing the chest, and he says, "Igor, this world is always going to be dark, but it's up to you to find the light." And I guess is what I would say is basically his broad statement. And we all know that Igor Karkaroff will become a Death Eater later on in life and the Durmstrang headmaster of a Durmstrang Institute in I guess either Russia or Bulgaria, and then also will be killed by Lord Voldemort's henchmen later on in the series, but in Harry Potter series. But I digress. There was a very good fan film. It's on right now, 52 minutes something seconds. It's more like 49 minutes because of credits. But other than that, it was a very good film. I highly recommend it to all you guys. Like, comment, subscribe if you haven't done so already. I'll be back in a little bit with another video. And stay cool. And I'll see you in the next video.